Hello everyone and welcome back to the Pokemon Platinum Randomizer. So Link, Michael, how you doing?
I'm okay. Not too bad.
Alright, cool, that's it. That's the end of the show right there. We're done.
Thanks for coming along, guys. I will catch you in the next episode.
Exactly. Dude, I'm so happy to have my Skuntank.
Yeah, it's pretty exciting.
I finally have fire coverage.
That's true.
Alright, well, you know, we're going to be heading to Pastoria today, because that's next on the list, so we're going down this route. We should get probably 2, maybe 3 encounters today? At least
Potentially.
2. At least
2, because there's one more route.
There's one more route towards Pastoria, yeah.
Yeah.
When you go through that little resort area, it switches routes when you come out of it.
Yeah.
Dude, watch the Sudowoodo have Earthquake and crit my Skuntank right now.
I love Sudowoodo. Sudowoodo is one of my favorite Gen 2 Pokemon.
That is wild. Would you agree that... I think we might have had this conversation before, but not on video. Would you agree that Gen 2 is, like, possibly, in terms of not having bad Pokemon, but in terms of having really good Pokemon, the weakest gen?
We have had this conversation before, and I would probably agree with you. I think if we're living in a world where you can include Gen 2 evolutions like in Gen 4 as Gen 2, then they're pretty good. But for the most part, like,
I think Gen 2 honestly just has, like, some of them are just, like, not great. Or it's just, like, they're super forgettable. Because I'm thinking, like, the only things I can really think of is T-Tar, the dogs, Donphan, and then the starters.
Yeah.
And then, like, everything else, it's like, there are a lot of Pokemon that, like, for me personally, because I started with Gen 3, a lot of Pokemon I think, like, what do you mean this is a Gen 2 Pokemon? This is a Gen 3 Pokemon, namely Skarmory, which I know a lot of other people had that same issue.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I mean, a lot of the Pokemon suck. I'm a fan of a lot of the designs. Like, I love Sneasel and Gligar, but most of the reason why I love those Pokemon is because
of their evolved forms
usable.
in Gen 4.
Yeah. Like, when you're looking at Pokemon like Noctowl and Girafarig and
Stantler.
Like, Stantler, who are just bad. Like, hey, Hoppip, you know, for instance, Skiploom.
Yeah, it also has, like, the worst evolutionary line of all time, you're right.
Yeah. I mean, there's a lot of really bad Pokemon. And I don't think I ever realized that, because last time we had this conversation, I was like, well, it's not that bad. But then I looked back at all of them, and, like, they really suck.
I honestly think, like, it's not even... I wouldn't argue that, like, the ones you're saying are bad are actually good. Like, I'm with you. But, like, for me, it's not even a matter of they're bad, because when I think bad, you know, most people go to Gen 5 and they're like, they literally made an ice cream cone of Pokemon. And I'm like, yeah, it is pretty bad, but they also have, like, a bunch of really...
Sledge of Pokemon.
Yeah, but it's also, like, you know, I think about, like, yeah, those Pokemon are pretty bad, but then I think of Gen 2 and I'm like, I just can't remember them because they're that forgettable.
Yeah, at least you remember,
I also remember, like, the really good ones. Like, Gen 5 has a lot of good... Gen 5, I think, is the gen with the most highs and lows.
Yeah, I think I'd be willing to agree with that.
And I think that also just comes from the fact that didn't it add the most Pokemon of all time? Didn't they add, like, 170 or something? Gen 5 had the most added Pokemon ever.
I'm pretty sure it matched Gen 1 with, like, around 150.
No, it was like 160, because they went from 493 Gensec to 649.
I don't know. I don't.
Maybe
really
that's like
pay
100.
enough
Wait a minute.
attention to
I can't
numbers.
do the math right.
Also, I have a Golduck now, which is nice.
Oh, way to go,
Is it gonna learn Psychic?
I don't think so. It's not even a Psychic type.
No. But, like, it should be.
Yeah, probably. Let me see here. Calculator. 649.
But then that would mean that there's, like, 5 water Psychics.
156 Pokemon were added in Gen 5. That is 5
Okay,
more
I knew it was
than Gen
about.
1.
I knew it was about.
I thought it was like
150.
160, but yeah, you're right.
No.
It's about 150. But that's the most Pokemon ever added. So, like, you're gonna expect some of the highs and the lows.
Yeah.
But, like, Gen 2, it's just like they've got, like, I don't know, like, maybe they added 100 roughly. They got, like, maybe 15 or 20 good Pokemon, and then it's either garbage or just the most forgettable things of all time.
Yeah. I would argue.
By the way, I
ran
ran into a Shedinja, by the way, and it is the most fodder of fodder to Skuntank of all time.
Nice. I would argue that before Gen 4, like, it had by far the most lows. Because, I mean, without the Gen 4 evolutions, most of those Pokemon are pretty lame. Also, I'm really
like
concerned.
Murkrow. partially because Shroom loves Murkrow.
I like Murkrow too.
I think he's one of the ones that Honchkrow.
Yeah,
I agree. I agree. Honchkrow is amazing, but I think. I mean, I agree with you. Like, freaking Mischievous, I think is trash without its evolution. I'm not even that big a fan of Mismagius. What was the other one that we were talking about?
Sneasel, Gligar,
Sneasel is still cool. Gligar?
Yanma? Yanma is
basically
worthless.
Yeah, basically. Also, like, I'm gonna be honest with you. I don't hate Gligar, but like, I would never even take a second glance at one if it weren't for Gliscor. Gliscor, I actually like love Gliscor, not just because I'm using it right now, but I'm actually like a pretty big fan of Gliscor. It's like basically like Gligar was like, yeah, it's a Pokemon, and then Gliscor was like, what if Gligar was actually cool? And then they we made Gliscor. Yeah, I agree. I pretty much just think that, like, Gen 2 is the weakest in terms of Pokemon added.
Yeah, I think that's pretty fair.
Although I'll give them this, at least they added like 100 of them.
Yeah, you know, there was a good number there.
Actually, now that I think about it, I probably need to like look through Gen 7 because I might like Gen 7 less now.
No, I mean, even Gen 7, like, I like a lot of those Pokemon. Like, I'm
Gen 7 has
Decidueye,
so I can't be that mad at them.
Yeah, like, I know you hate Incineroar, but even I think Incineroar is, like, okay.
Oh, well, that's just a wrong opinion, but you're allowed to have it.
I like Toucannon for some reason. I like the colors.
Toucannon, I like Toucannon just because it's like, I am the angriest bird that has ever birded.
I think Wishy-Washy is a fun
Dude, I do also.
Cool
you know
concept.
What? You've immediately convinced me again. I love Wishy-Washy.
Yeah, I mean, Gen 7, by all means, had great Pokemon, and I love the way the region looks, just not very fun games.
Yeah, the games are pretty bad. Oh man, dude, we're almost in 2019. The Pokemon game is almost within a year. I mean, it's definitely I'm doubt they're releasing it like after Christmas in December. So like we are within a year of it. I'm thinking we're looking at like a late summer, like mid-fall release somewhere in that area.
Maybe.
I don't think they're gonna wait until like they released Pikachu and Eevee in like November. I think they're gonna do it before November. So like at the latest, I'm thinking like October, September release.
Maybe. I don't know enough about the video game industry to know like when the prime real estate is for like releasing games in the fall area.
Nintendo like releases them so strangely with times that like I'll tell you this. Prime release time for your games is not to release Let's Go and Smash 2 weeks apart.
It was more than 2 weeks, right?
No.
Really?
Maybe 3. It was less than a month.
Oof.
Because, like, Smash Ultimate was the 7th, and then I think Let's Go Eevee, and that was, like, November 20-something.
Yeah, I think you might be right. I think it was November 17.
17, yeah. So that's, like,
2
to 3 weeks.
Pretty close.
Yeah. Less than a month, basically. Normally, you don't release things that you expect to be heavy hitters within, like, a month of each other.
Yeah, especially when you're trying to appeal to a similar audience.
Yeah,
I'm sure...
the only time you, like, do that is on a console release, which, as we all know, Nintendo doesn't do.
Yeah.
I'm really pleased with Nintendo in like the past. Ever since the Switch came out, they've really brought it back because like the Wii was pretty good, but it had its issues, and then the Wii U was just an atrocity. And like they stuck with the Wii U for like a whole life cycle, like 5-6 years or whatever, right? Something like that.
Yeah.
Probably more like 4 years, I think. Because when did the Wii U come out? Like
no,
2011.
Wii U came out 2012.
Yeah, 2012, and then the Switch came out 16 or 17.
So 4 years.
Yeah, so 4 years.
Was it only 2012?
I think it was 2011.
It might have been like
because the Wii came out 2006, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, I think so.
So it would be around there. But anyways, they like stuck a whole life cycle with the Wii U, and for those like 5 years, like I loved Hyrule Warriors, and then I loved Xenoblade Chronicles X, and then the rest of it was just like, Nintendo, can you please be good? Like, I beg of you.
Yeah.
It was basically just like, thank goodness we have the DSs.
Yeah, no, I mean the Switch is honestly like
I love the Switch too. I'm a PS4, like that's my number one. Switch is an easy number 2 for me. And not only that, but I'm like, as much as I do love the PS4, I think the Switch is like the greatest like upgrade from console to console of all time. Except maybe like the PS1 to PS2, but that was like a different era.
Yeah. I think the Switch is everything that the Wii U like wanted to be, but
except like a million times better.
Yeah, they just didn't do it right.
Yeah, I mean, I have small issues with the Switch, but that's mostly just performance issues. But I mean, that's not really with what the Switch needs to be. There's not much they could have done about it. I do wish. I remember someone said back when the Switch was first released, like, how great would it be if they released like a beefed up version of the dock that you could buy that was like not necessarily cheap, but like reasonable. I think I accidentally just got an encounter, but it's my turn, so it's fine. And it is a Shinx.
You're way ahead of me, I guess.
I'm at the end of this route. I think this is a different route. I think it said the route changed at the top left. I'm gonna catch this thing just in case, and then I'll
like
double
this
check.
area in front of the lake?
Yeah.
All right. Oh, I don't know.
Is it a different route? Walk out and then walk back in.
I'm already in an encounter.
Oh, what is it?
It's an Ariados.
Remember when you could have had a Spinnerack?
Yeah, I mean, I'd rather have an Ariados than a Spinnerack, I guess.
Oh, well, you know, you don't get to have either because I just got roared out by the Shinx.
Okay, I'll run.
Route 214 to route... Oh, it's Valor Lakefront is what we're in, and we just lost our encounter at it. So, I mean, there's literally nothing... I could have Hypnosised it turn 1, but I didn't know it got roared. So.
That's okay. I mean, we wouldn't have been able to use that because it was an electric type and a bug type, so...
Yeah, it's
not
fine.
Very upset.
Also not likely that we're going to lose those ones.
Is Route 213 the same as...
I will double check
the next
for you.
route? I mean... I think so.
The one that we just came off of was 214, wasn't it?
No, I mean like the like, it doesn't change again before Pastoria.
I'm opening the town map, so I'll find out. Okay. 214 we just came from. You're on 213. You just said. Next is Pastoria before anything else.
All right. Okay.
And the route from Pastoria to Hearthome is all one route, Route 212. It doesn't break any.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah, I thought it broke into 2, but it's just 1. The snow route that takes you up to Snow Point breaks into 216 and 217, so you can get 2 there, and you can get the Acuity Lakefront as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. I'm just gonna avoid these. Oh, never mind.
What were we talking about before?
We were talking about Gen 2 and the Switch and the Switch.
Oh, the Switch. We were talking about the Switch. Yeah, I have. You know, I remember someone saying something like, "Dude, what if they just like released a buffed up version of the dock that would make it like performance way better when docked?" Because, like, no one expects it to be amazing when undocked. And I was like, you know what? I mostly play it docked. And I'd be fine with paying some cash for that, to be completely honest.
I don't know enough about, like...
Yeah, I don't know how, like, I don't know enough about it to know if that's even possible.
For sure if that's how that works, especially
I don't
since,
know.
like...
I don't know if it can work
The only thing the dock is, like, for output and, like, charging. So I don't know what else the dock is capable of doing if they were to put more stuff in there. But I would not be upset if they... made like
if they made a super
like
dock
Switch, like a Switch XL that is just attached to the dock, and then
no, I don't want that because I don't want to have to buy another Switch because that's just like you're asking for too much of my money.
This is an encounter. I'm gonna run into something.
I say that having bought a PS4 Pro, but the PS4 Pro is like fairly different from the original PS4.
It's a Golbat. We didn't have. Any
I don't think
Zubat
the thing is
stuff,
like
right?
it's gotta you can't. Oh, you got a Zubat?
Golbat.
Oh, a Golbat? No, we don't have any of those. But, I don't think that, that's primary poison, though. We're not going to be able to use it.
Yeah, it's okay.
I don't think anyone is going to want to buy a Switch that can't be undocked, except maybe me.
Yeah.
Like, I might be the only demographic for that.
I don't think they would ever do that, because I feel like there are...
I really think, like...
plenty of things that rely on being able to take it off. But, like...
Yeah. Honestly, I think, like, the only way it would work is if it was, like, a super dock that you could plug into. And I would absolutely be willing to pay probably, like, I don't know, $50 to $80 for one of them.
That's fair.
I mean, I paid, like, $70 for this stupid controller, so honestly, I'd probably pay $100 for it, to be real with you. But if it was, like, basically buying another Switch, I'd be like, probably not.
Yeah, I definitely would not be upset if, like, the next Nintendo console was like much less gimmicky and more powerful.
Well, I'm gonna like tell you right now, just give up. Like,
yeah, no,
Nintend's entire existence has been like, I don't know if like the GameCube necessarily had like a real gimmick going on, but like they've done nothing but gimmicks at least since the Wii. So like the Wii, the Wii U, and the Switch have all been big gimmicks, and I would argue probably like the GameCube's portability with having a handle on it, as well as being able to plug Game Boy games into it, might kind of be gimmick-ish.
Yeah, I'm definitely not expecting it. And I don't even think Nintendo consoles necessarily need to be much more powerful for like the quality of games that they've.
It really doesn't. Like I think they're like honestly to to put it in percentages, because that's the easy way to do it, like, you want to have a thing that can run at 100%, and the PS4 can, like, run at 100% of what it needs to, and I would assume, I haven't used one, like, personally, but I've seen stuff of it. The Xbox One appears to also work at, like, 100% of what it needs to for power. I think the Switch is at, like, 85%. It's, like, it's close, but it's lacking enough that you can tell that, like, hey, this thing needs to be a bit stronger.
Yeah.
Which, I mean, you know, that's just how Nintendo is. That's not necessarily bad, because you don't, like... They're doing it more now with the Switch, where they're, like, putting Dark Souls and other things. Like, they're putting a bunch of third-party stuff on the Switch now. Which is good. It's good they're doing that. I like it. But, like, you know, the main reason you have a Nintendo console is to play, like, Zelda and Mario. And those don't necessarily need the 100%.
Knocking it out of the park.
Yeah, Odyssey and Breath of the Wild have both been great.
The only, like, major complaint I have about Nintendo as a whole right now is that they still don't really understand, like, Virtual Console. Because they think that having the, like, NES stuff on their online, that too, online is stupid for them.
I was gonna say, my number one thing that's the problem with Nintendo is they can't do online to save their lives.
I think I'll include the Virtual Console stuff with my complaints about online, because that is probably number one.
Like, Nintendo...
Because they think that having the NES stuff on there, like, is enough. But, like, people want to play more games than,
By the
like,
way, where did you get
Tecmo.
Really quickly, for the game we're playing, where did you go to get this encounter with this Golbat?
Like, right before the grass right in front of Pastoria City.
Oh, you're already at Pastoria City?
Yeah.
Oh, have you been skipping a bunch of people? I think I fought everyone I came across.
I skipped a few.
I think I fought just about everyone. I'm going to skip these fishermen.
Fishermen.
I might skip this lady,
fishermen all the way at the bottom. Yeah, I just remembered also we can potentially catch something in the
marsh.
Pastoria City.
Oh, in Pastoria City, yeah, they got water. Yeah.
I think we have the good rod now, so that's better than the old rod.
It doesn't matter because of randomization, but yeah.
But, like, higher levels, you know, we don't have to do as much,
yeah, I guess. What was I about to say? Yeah, my number one complaint, like, I only really have, like, one major complaint with Nintendo. I have my own, like, small things that, like, you know, I wish they do this. Like, Breath of the Wild was a good, like, one of my minor ones is Breath of the Wild is a good game. I wouldn't mind more, like, big open-world Zelda games. But please also make the OG ones, because I really love, like, Skyward Sword and Twilight Princess, and I also want more, like, dungeon crawl Zeldas, personally.
Yeah, I can't imagine they would,
yeah, I can't imagine they discontinue it, but I also, like, I really hope...
For the next game, at least.
Yeah, the thing I'm worried about is that, like, I'm fine, like, with them doing both and that kind of splitting resources so it takes longer. I just don't want them to be like, we should make the next 3 of them Breath of the Wild games, and then we'll get back to OG Zelda. Because that'll be, like, 5 years of waiting for an OG Zelda, and I'm not about it.
I think when it comes to Zelda, they've always, at least since, like, Ocarina of Time, they've always had their split of, like,
oh my goodness, mine is an Alakazam?
Yo, nice.
Can't use it because of the setup we have, but still.
Also,
it might just run away from me with teleport.
That's true, it might have
maybe.
teleport. They've always had this split of 2D and 3D Zelda games, and they've done a very good job of, like, balancing them out. I don't think they ever released more than one 2D before they release a 3D, unless you count, like, Oracle of Ages and Seasons, because those were released together. So I don't think that they would completely abandon the original, you know, temple.
I really, like, really just hope they don't, because, like,
I don't think they would.
I'm all for another Breath of the Wild, like I said. Like, I'm not anti-Breath of the Wild. I think it's a good game. And I hate having to say that, like, literally every time, because anytime I say anything negative about Breath of the Wild, like, the Breath of the Wild, like, Nintendo fandom is one of the fandoms where it's like, you said something bad about the game? You don't think it's a 10 out of 10 best game ever? You must hate it then. And I'm like, no. It's not my #1 favorite, but it's still good.
Yeah. I played, like, 120 hours of Breath of the Wild. I love Breath of the Wild, but I don't want to play Breath of the Wild again until there's another, you know,
another open world.
Zelda
and I'm
game.
totally cool with another, like, open Zelda game. That's fine. But also, like, it's so, and it's like, it's no detriment to Nintendo because they're going to make money on both of them. Just make another, like, dungeon crawl, kind of more story-focused one. What on earth am I going to name Alakazam?
Oh, you actually caught it. Nice.
Yeah. It just used Kinesis the whole time like an idiot.
Nice. I don't know. But I was going to say, we'll argue that Nintendo definitely could, like, balance out Breath of the Wild to be more dungeony.
I would also love that. I mean,
Yeah,
I
because,
I really only had like 2 problems. Maybe like 2 big problems and then like 1 minor one maybe. But my only problems with Breath of the Wild were the dungeons were complete garbage basically. Not complete garbage. They were all right, but they were too short and they weren't super fun. As much as like other Zelda dungeons I've done in both Twilight Princess and Skyward Sword. And like the Triforce Heroes game I played with RTK and Spyro was a lot of fun.
Yeah,
but
they felt very one note. Like there was one thing going on in the dungeon, and you always just had to run around and find the stupid whatevers. They didn't feel very like. They
weren't different because like
impressive.
Every other like all the other dungeons were like you have to use your skills to get through it, and then there's gonna be one new item that plays a big part, but it's not the entire dungeon is focused around it.
Yeah.
Here's the guy who stands in the middle of Pastoria City and prevents you from doing so. All right, I'm going to.
By this body of water.
Yeah, I'm gonna fish for my encounter right now. But that was like one of my complaints about Breath of the Wild, and also the bosses in Breath of the Wild are complete trash. Like they may as well not even be there. I beat every single boss. I beat every boss, even the final boss, first try, except for the electric Ganon Blight.
One. Yeah,
that
and
I beat.
Tough.
Yeah, I beat. It wasn't even.
That was a good boss fight, though.
No, it wasn't even tough. I just didn't realize I could pick up the metal poles. Because I beat it second try as soon as I knew I could do that. The only reason I lost it is because I ran around the field like, what on earth do I do? And then I died before chat told me what to do.
Yeah. I will say that's kind of another one of my issues stemming off of that, is that, yes, it was very non-linear, and I like games that allow you to go around and do whatever you want.
I think you're about to get to my next complaint, my other big one.
After you have done one of the bosses, like, you've got what you need. You've got good weapons, you've got plenty of hearts, like... there's no challenge left.
As soon
as
like
as good as you can
I don't
be,
even think like I don't even think it has to do with beating a boss. I think it's just like if you play the game for about 7 hours and accumulate stuff, and then you learn how to beat a Lionel, as soon as you know how to beat a Lionel, the game is easy.
Yeah.
It just becomes an easy game.
I played a little bit of Master Mode. I've done like 2 of the dungeons, and it was really hard until I got around like near the first dungeon. And then after that, it was like playing on regular again because I had plenty of weapons, I had plenty of hearts, and it wasn't challenging anymore. Yeah.
I'm also like, and this is a more minor complaint, I'm not super bummed if they keep it. I'm one of the people that doesn't like the breakable weapons. Oh my goodness! You better get a good Pokemon on this! I've been going through like 5 good rod throws and I just found a Shroomish!
Yo! And my Breloom is dead, so technically
exactly, it's not Dupe's Claws. And it's a male, so I can name it King Scrub. It won't even have to take the name.
Nice.
Please catch something that we can use. Get a dragon or something. Oh no, what is it?
I'm not, like, 100% upset by this. I'm sure, like, we could make it work.
What is it?
It's a Munchlax.
Oh, we don't have a normal type, so you can just use it.
I love Snorlax, but I hate the idea of having to use this thing. But hopefully, if we use it,
just put the experience share and keep it in the back of your team. Don't use it. Just don't use it until it eventually evolves, and you're like, oh,
ooh, I do have a Soothe Bell, though, so it might not be as bad as I'm thinking.
Yeah, dude, honestly, I think that's a good draw, because, like, you were just complaining...
And it has the leftovers.
Dude, let's go. You're so lucky!
That has to be another 5%.
I think it might even be lower.
Maybe, like, maybe 1%.
Maybe, like, 2 or 1, because I know that can happen on some ones. Dude, King Scrub perfectly fits with the space. I love it. This is like one of the best encounters we've had in the game, in my eyes.
Yeah.
Also, you were just like, I was gonna say you were complaining about it, but you weren't really complaining. But you just mentioned like you don't have any bulky mons. You don't get much bulkier than Snorlax.
Snorlax is pretty bulky.
This is such a good draw. I'm so pleased.
This is a good draw.
I got literally like my favorite non-legendary Pokemon, and you got a good bulk boy.
Yeah. If I can catch it, this thing is like not even shaking.
Oh, please catch it.
I mean, I've got 22 more Great Balls.
You have any status effects to hit it with, like sleep or paralysis?
No.
You don't have Thunder Wave on that thing? On the
no, shockingly, I do not. I never learned it.
Ah, shockingly, I see.
Ha, nice.
Please catch the Munchlax. I will actually lose my mind.
I don't think I have anything. I could have taught Sing to my Kricketune.
Nah. Dude, this has been a really good video. I like all this discussion we've done.
Yeah, I think that makes
it's especially nice, like, you know, I do enjoy when we argue and start yelling at each other, but also it's nice every now and then to have a conversation where we're, like, on the same side and, like, yeah, you know, I kind of agree with that, but I also have this misgiving or whatever. But yeah, so basically, my 2 big issues with Breath of the Wild in general is that it's, like, The game is way too easy after you've played like 10-ish hours. And then, what was the other thing? Oh, the bosses in the dungeons are very lackluster. Yes, he's got it. Sick. I'm just gonna immediately throw, I need to heal, but I'm gonna immediately throw experience share on the Shroomish.
You know what? Another thing.
One more thing!
There were only, like, really, if I'm being honest, there was only like one important town that you ever went to, and it was Kakariko. The rest of them felt like
they were just
there. And even when they were there, they were like in the middle of nowhere and tiny.
This is something that like I just accept with Breath of the Wild, so I'm not super against it. And because the previous Zelda games weren't crazy about it, but they did a good amount, is story. There's like, and I hate it whenever I tell this to someone, they're like, oh, you just didn't look into it deep enough. There is not enough story in Breath of the Wild. There's hardly any. And you have to, like, the bit of story that you can get, you have to really go out of your way for.
Yeah, I think I do agree with that. I still do enjoy the story a lot, and I like it.
Listen,
it just feels
I think
too
it's like,
far.
I like
few and too few and far in between, whatever that saying is.
Yeah, exactly. That is the saying, too far and few between. But it's like, by the way, we don't have time to fight Pastoria. We should see if we can get to the next route and get another encounter.
Yeah, I'm trying to think of a nickname for my Snorlax right now.
Yeah, it's fine. Take your time.
Munchlax, that is.
It'll be a Snorlax, hopefully, unless it dies.
All right, Munchies, Weed.
Oh, no. I already hate it.
Snoop Dogg, but I'm gonna name it Snoop Bear because it's a bear.
You know what? That's fun. But anyways, oh, this guy isn't a trainer. What the heck? What was I about to say?
Something about Breath of the Wild, probably.
Oh yeah, the story. So like, the thing is like, I think Breath of the Wild has an amazing premise. The premise of the story is wonderful, and I love it. And honestly, that makes me angrier. Because they, like, do hardly anything with it. I'm like, dude, this could have been so amazingly good. Like, you could have done so much more story stuff with the warriors and Zelda and the world around you in general, but they hardly do anything. And I was thinking, like, as I was doing the side quests in the game, I was like, oh, cool, I just got a revive, by the way, best item in the game. But as I was doing the side quests in the game, I was like, cool, this is going to expand upon stuff and whatnot. And it was normally just like, like, they weren't necessarily bad, but it was like the generic, like, help person do X. Yeah. Or, like, it didn't have, like any kind of...
go to the beach and kill these monsters.
Yeah, it didn't have, like, any kind of lore associated with it, you know? Even, like, Cass and, like, the songs he did, they were a cool addition, but they weren't, like, super big on the lore either. They didn't really add much. It was just like, hey, look, here's a song about this area that will help you figure out the puzzle.
Yeah.
But overall, Breath of the Wild is still... No, it's your turn. It's your turn. I got the Shroomish first.
Oh, yeah, it is. Yeah. Delcatty, eh.
Eh. Also, you have Munchlax, so I'm not going to use it.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm so mad.
What is it?
It's a Shelgon.
Oh, man.
Of all the times for you just gotten a Munchlax and me be like, this is the greatest thing of all time, then I get, like, a Delcatty is usable, and I got a Shelgon.
That is really unfortunate.
He's going to be so mad.
Why? Because you would rather have Shelgon than Breloom?
No, I said he. Slyro is going to be so mad.
Slyro.
He's going to be livid. It's literally his Pokemon, but I'm not going to use it.
Yeah, I mean, Delcatty is just straight unusable.
If my Breloom ever gets caught by an Aerial Ace on something I don't think should have Aerial Ace, then we got the backup.
Yeah, you were the one that said everything has Aerial Ace, so you gotta watch out.
I mean, a lot of Pokemon can learn Aerial Ace. The only requisite for Aerial Ace is having Sharp Claws, because that's what, like, the move description is, and a lot of Pokemon can do that. Some Pokemon without Sharp Claws can do it, like a Registeel. Registeel can do it because they say, like, his metal can harden to be sharp or whatever.
Yeah. This Delcatty is giving me just as much trouble to catch as the Munchlax, and this one's actually paralyzed. It got staticked.
Ah, nice.
Wait, how did it get staticked? I have soundproof. Oh, Spark. Spark, I guess, has a chance to...
Yeah, it does. It does. Most electric moves do. Like, any electric move that doesn't have a secondary effect other than paralysis can usually paralysize.
Makes sense.
Anyways, yeah. In discussion,
Real quick.
Breath of the Wild is a... Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, I think I was about to say exactly what you were saying. It sounds like we're ripping Breath of the Wild a new one, but remember, I played 130 hours of that.
I don't remember how many. I put in at least 80 hours.
Yeah,
it's probably like
it's
my.
Fantastic
it's
game.
Probably like I like Skyward Sword and Twilight Princess more, but like it's probably my third favorite Zelda after that. I liked it more than Majora's Mask, that's for sure.
Yeah.
But anyways, like Breath of the Wild, end of discussion, is a very, very good game, but it does have a handful of issues that I hope they improve upon in the future.
Yeah.
Yeah, overall,
well,
it's
I guess
good.
on that note, I'm gonna run back to the Pokemon Center, and then I guess next episode we'll do.
Yeah.
Do you want to do the Great March before? Oh man, I could have had a Leafeon. I'm okay with Leafeon.
Leafeon's cool. I wish you would
do
have
you
gotten
want to do
a
Great March
Pokemon
before...
that was not grass or normal. We're not going to record again today, or we might record later tonight. I don't know, but we can figure that out next time we decide when we're going to record. No point in worrying about it right now.
I figure we can just like get the Great March over with.
Yeah, that's fair. Also, you never know; we might get a 6th Mon out of it.
Don't we already have a 6th? Oh wait, no, we lost
we have 5.
one of ours.
We have 5.
Right,
we actually have like a full. Well, I don't have a full usable team of 5 because my Magius is garbage. But
right.
Like I've got 4 usable good Mons, and you have 5, I think.
Yeah, I mean once Munchlax.
Oh yeah, once Munchlax evolves. Yeah, and my Shroomish is worthless until it evolves, but I'm gonna level grind it in between here.
Hopefully, I mean I've got a good like 12 or so levels to get on it. I'm gonna give it the
Soothe Bell. You just need to be very careful that it never faints and that you actually use it in combat.
I mean, I'll grind it up before next time.
Yeah, but I mean, like, it's gotta be the one fighting. Because when I'm grinding my Shroomish, it's gonna be sitting in the back with an experience share, probably.
Yeah.
There's nothing worse than getting, like, everyone, whenever you do a Nuzlocke randomize, whenever you do randomize, you're like, man, I really hope I run into one of the pseudo-legendaries or something and I can use it. And I've done it. I've ran into one, but I can't use it. I mean, I could, technically, but, like, I don't want to. The others are too
one day,
good.
Maybe.
Yeah,
Man,
maybe one day.
This Munchlax is so slow. It has
it's very
7
slow.
speed.
But when it evolves, it's going to be the fattest thing of all time.
I thought you were going to say the fastest, and I was about to have a hard disagree.
Yeah.
What does Brave do? Brave is plus attack minus defense?
Minus speed. Minus speed.
Minus speed.
That's
hey,
like
perfect.
the best nature you could have gotten for a Munchlax, to be honest, other than, like, I don't know, maybe +1 of the defenses, but you don't really need plus defense.
Yeah.
All right, well, thank you all for watching. We hope you enjoyed. You know, Michael's Twitter is in the description. Be sure to check him out and leave a like and all that good stuff.
Leave a like on every single one of my tweets.
Yeah, exactly. And when it is likes now. I miss favorites. You remember that back in the day?
Yeah, that was a long time ago.
It was like 1.5 years, 2 years or something. That's wild.
It was longer than that, wasn't it?
No, I don't think it was that long. I remember not updating my phone's Twitter for a long while because it stayed in favorites. But,
nice.
yeah, we will see you all next time to take on the Pastoria City Gym, which it's not our 4th, it's the 5th. For a second there, I thought it was the 4th gym, but in Platinum, it's the 5th.
No, I think it is, in Diamond and Pearl.
So we're, like, kind of going to be, like, I think beating the 5th gym, because of how, like, Team Galactic works, it's kind of like the halfway point of the game.
Kind of, yeah, I'd say.
Because, I mean, like, it takes a little bit to get to you get to the 6th gym really fast, takes a bit to get to the 7th and the 8th. You got to go through Mount Coronet, and then you got to do the Elite Four.
You have to do all the lake stuff.
That doesn't take long at all, though. You just have to.
I guess you can't go up to the top lake.
No, you don't. No, you don't, because you can't get to Lake Acuity until after you have the thing.
But don't you have to do...
The bomb explodes when you're in Canalab City.
Wait. Okay. Yeah, I guess you're right then. I forgot about it.
It's after the 6th gym. You can't go to the 7th until you do that, because then you're like, go to all of the lakes, and then it's like, okay, you got to go to the 3rd lake. It's right next to the 7th gym.
The Great Marsh explodes, and I think I combined those two events.
Oh, that's right. The Great Marsh does explode after the gym. You're right. I forgot about that as well. But no, the bomb, I remember specifically, Lake Verity, Lake Valor. Lake Valor explodes when you're in the library in Canalab after beating the gym leader talking to Rowan.
Yeah, and I remember now, that's why we need to do the Great Marsh before we do Pastoria Gym, because it's going to be closed, because it's going to blow up.
Oh, yeah, so we will definitely do that first. All right, well, that's enough rambling. We'll see you all next time. Until then, farewell.